What's going on, Cover Killer Nation, and happy birthday to me. How weird is this? And it's past midnight on June the 12th, so I am starting off the new year of my life doing the thing that I do the most and probably the best, which is review music. Oh, baby. I'm not telling you how old I am because I'm just not going to do that. Disarmonia Mundi. I probably just butchered that name. It's been 6 years since their last album. We have to talk about their new one, which is out right now. It's entitled Cold Inferno. 6-year wait for these guys, which is certainly one that is kind of understandable, but at the same time, really took a lot of people by surprise whenever they announced that they were going to be coming back. For a lot of folks, the wait was torturous, and these are purveyors of the Gothenburg metal scene, or the melodic death metal scene. They hail from Italy, and they have had the assistance of Bjorn from Soilwork, Speed, that has been helping them on studio records in the past, and so there is a little bit of a further connection there with the Gothenburg scene that is ever present within their material. So 6 years of a wait, wow. I remember these guys being on my radar whenever everybody was starting to learn a little bit more about the Gothenburg scene, the melodic death metal scene, and by everybody I don't mean the metal purists, I'm talking the world. So whenever these guys first came out, they were a kind of a nice little addition to that subgenre, but there was not much that really kind of pervaded them one way or the next as really shining forth as true torchbearers or frontrunners, and it just reminded me that Torchbearer was a pretty good group, not necessarily within that category. So some of this album actually kind of, it sounds and reads very much like one of those stickers that you see on albums that say, if you like this band, and that band, then you will enjoy the band that is that they're trying to sell. The sticker is on their album. It definitely gives me that feeling every so often, because I feel as though this is one of those bands that is a kept secret to a lot of individuals that enjoy other bands that could very easily get into this. And some of the names may actually piss off some folks, considering they're not all necessarily Gothenburg staples. Of course, obviously, if you like Soilwork, if you like some of the In Flames material from the 2000s, you're really going to dig this band. In fact, if anything, this may be a little bit heavier than that. If you like a little bit of Fear Factory, it's not going to have that aggressive of a real philosophy to it, but it is still going to be one that I think a lot of FF fans would really dig. And then even the Bullet for My Valentines, and what many people call fringe metal bands, which in reality they're just more of a melodic metal band, either that or a groove metal band, a radio-friendly metal band. There are so many fucking distinctions out there. Can we quit it already with all of this crap? It's music. But at any rate, I feel like a lot of folks, even in that category, would even find this album, especially Cold Inferno, to be enjoyable. Mainly because of the mix between the very aggressive screams or growling vocals counteracted with the cleans. The cleans certainly give it that nice pristine image, and they're pretty well executed. Meanwhile, the aggressive, the more growling, the more scream-centered vocals certainly have a little bit of a mind of their own. There's a couple of distinct styles that are employed here. There are some great fierce highs that intermix with some more mid-ranged growls that you're going to hear on this disc. While musically speaking, the mellow death is very strong with this one. This is one that certainly places itself directly in that distinction, which is another reason why I feel that those bands that I listed, their fans would enjoy this, because it does have groove, it does have melody to it, it has all of the hooks, and it also has all of the talent. There's a track on here that is entitled Oddities from the Ravishing Chasm. It's a 7-minute long track that is right in the heart of this album, which was actually a perfectly placed, a perfect placement for it. Is probably the highlight on this disc. This is one that, while it still showcases the same real playbook that this group has shown on the 4 songs that precede it, and on the 6 that will come after it, the 5 that will come after it, this is still a song that has a lot of character to it. It has a lot of uniquity to it. Not to mention, it also features one of the better solos that you're going to hear on this disc. Just overall, the body, the construction and the overall tone of this track really makes it stand out. It actually sticks out like a sore thumb, even though it's being constructed in the same style as the other 9 counterpart songs that are on this record. That's just something that where good songwriting and kind of giving your composition a bit of a moment to breathe and giving it the ability to really morph and mold into something certainly comes into play, and also only helps to boost your song's reputation and potential. I feel that the second half of this song is a little weaker than the first half. I feel the first 4 minutes of this track are exceptionally solid. One that really showcases kind of the polars of the talent level that this group has, and it's a solid foundation. Coffin sounds like a traditional, almost single styles track for this group. That's track number 4 off of the album. I like the way that the groove is able to intermix with those clean vocals to kind of deliver a bit of a cleaner approach overall, while not sacrificing all of that much in the way of this band's version or brand of brutality. And I also like how some tracks on the latter portions of this disc, such as Clay of Hate or Magma Diver, kind of have a little bit of that same tonal quality to it. I feel like this is a group that is kind of underrated in many opinions, but I think it's underrated with a certain subsect of metal fans. I think those ones that I listed earlier, their fan bases really need to discover this group and give them their fair opportunity. I don't think that they would be very disappointed from what they heard. Overall, this album has a lot of solid qualities to it. It does have a nice mix of the aggressiveness as well as the more clean the vocals that accompany it, and just overall the body of work does have a lot of niceties to it, a lot of things that make it feel very complete. But I do feel that this is an album that sometimes it gets a little bit lazy. It has a bit of a formula to it in some locations that is followed pretty strictly, and it gets to the point that as you move on, you can kind of see some of the punches coming. It's almost like being a poker player and being able to read your opponent almost perfectly because they don't shift up their pattern. I think that's the only real flaw that this album has. Aside from that, I think that it really gives the melodic death metal subgenre, or the Gothenburg subgenre, something else to really be proud of, considering here in 2015, yet another feather has been placed in its cap. I would probably give this a 77 out of 100. Some would probably argue that's a bit light, but I think that for what you're getting, you do have some shining moments, but you also have some very apparent typicalities. But what did you guys think about Cold Inferno by Disarmonia Mundi? Which, again, if I'm destroying the name, I apologize. I'm only human, and I'm a fucking American, which makes it all the worse for all of you Europeans, I know. I understand, but be nice to me. It's my birthday, come on. Why don't you buy me a beer or something like that? Or kick my ass, whichever. What do you guys think about the album? Just let me know in the comments below, and we are going to talk tomorrow about something else. I don't know what that something else is yet, principally because I've not planned that far, because it's my fucking birthday. Subscribe, and we will find out together what will happen tomorrow. Sounds like a weird-ass Twilight Zone episode.